everybody. Welcome to the show. We actually were able to get this going pretty quickly tonight. Yep, it's back. We're on the couch again, which means we're going to be subjecting ourselves to things we probably don't want to do, all for your viewing entertainment. Hi, Mom. Hi, Sean. Hello, Mr. Bishop. So, let's see here. Give a second for people to hop on in. We have never been this quick about it. It always takes way longer. Yes, we have, real quick here. We have some homemade bread and butter pickles, which annoyingly still no one can tell me what the hell a bread and butter pickle is. Hi, Dad. And also we have some really weird... I call them Lovecraft pickles because they look like purple tentacles. I'm sure you guys can't see it from there. But, yeah. These bizarre purple tentacle-ish pickles. No, not pickles, peppers. We got pickles and peppers tonight.
Purple Malta peppers.
Purple Malta peppers. See, that sounds like some kind of a condition. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I have to tell you that it's the case of purple malotus. No, please, doctor, there has to be a cure. Oh, what did Dakota do now? Anyway, so, I don't know if I've informed any of you or if you're aware, it's Fraggin' Shark Week! And this actually matters again. I think the bishop might be possessed by a demon. You okay over there?
Looking for a shark to throw at you.
Uh-huh. Anyway. Well, you know what? Hold on here. Hey, you.
Oh,
Throw a shark at you.
there's a shark to throw at you.
Motherfucker. Anyway. Try them, they are good. You mean the peppers or the pickles? Mr. Bishop. Because again, nobody will tell me what in Sam hell these things are. Or what makes a... We appear to be having some celestial issues here. Yes, they were made by my dear sister Tara. I personally am excited about them. I mean, just look at me. I'm glowing now, Bishop. Anyway, they're kind of sweet. She says they're sweet. That scares me. Anyway, though. So, for the uninitiated, I absolutely... loved sharks. I still do. Growing up, you could make the jokes that I was a fin addict of sharks. And it's kind of coincidental, actually, and funny. Oh, he's talking about the pickles. He says he likes the pickles. Okay. Anyway, though. It's always so weird because, like, I'll be saying something and I'll see movement in the chat. And, of course, in reflex, I look over. So I keep doing that. But anyway... Yep, pickles and peppers tonight. Anyway, though, it's kind of funny. So I was born in 1988. Also born in 1988 was, of course, Shark Week. And it's kind of funny because sharks have always held a place in human consciousness, in our cultures. They're across the spectrum. Everywhere. No, this is sharp. Either way, well, we might be late for the party, but we're still doing it. So, there. Old head. Old head. You know what, Sean? Pray that you can make it to my level, okay? All right, just going to throw that there. Anyway, so... Sharks have always held a place in, the history of the world and cultures, from art to religion to, modernly they're a staple of horror movies. I mean, hey, here's an idea. Walk into any place that sells horror movies or horror DVDs and something like that, and throw a rock, and I guarantee there's a very good chance you will hit a shark movie. Which is funny because when I was a kid, I loved these shark movies. I loved, geez, I don't know how many times I've probably seen Jaws. Like, I'm being dead serious. Are we all good over there? Okay. Anyway,
Just doing my normal checks.
I've probably, oh, now you want it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, I've probably seen, Jaws is probably the second or third film I've seen the most times over. It's up there with Creature from the Black Lagoon and Jurassic Park for me, which is funny because I've joked. I'm scared because I'm not. Tara, we're live. You don't say that to somebody who's live on camera. Anyway. The bishop is over there. He looks like he's going to die. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. Anyway. So, a lot of people don't realize how thoroughly... hold on. I'm going to back up a little bit. Childhood is just loving Jaws because there's a cool big shark on the screen. Growing up is realizing that movie actually is pretty terrible. I can already hear people like screaming and gnashing their teeth. I don't care. The damage that was done because of that movie. It came out in 1975. And it pretty much single-handedly recreated the image of the shark in pop culture. Before that, sharks were these mysterious and powerful creatures that were, I wouldn't say feared, they were respected. And then Steven Spielberg's, with his infinite amount of money, just turned them into these grotesque, mindless, flesh-shredding monstrosities, which is the farthest thing from reality. And and some people actually, some marine biologists even refer to this as the dark times, because people saw these movies. They saw Jaws, and then Jaws 2, and Jaws 3, and Jaws the Revenge, and all this stuff. And they actually thought sharks are something that need to be destroyed, that they are monsters. And it's people always make jokes about, destroying the environment and shit like that. It's kind of funny that they never mention you can see a valley of shark populations after 1975. I wonder bloody why. That's the thing. Everyone's like, well, you love sharks. Jaws must be one of your favorite movies. I can't stand to watch it now. Because for all it has an incredible production value and it's very well acted, I'll give you that. But it's one of those things, like, I watch it and I can't help but think about the fact that because of this movie, we had shit like Sharknado. Oh, you don't like me saying that word? Bishop, buckle up. Okay, we're going into full-on rant mode. I may very well have to go Hiroshima and drop a bomb. My condolences to the 5 people who get that horribly placed joke. What's going on here? My nephew. Oh, hi, Connie. I didn't see you there. Anyway, sorry. Anyhow. I can't enjoy it anymore. And I never enjoyed Sharknado. Oh, God. We champion not putting effort in this day and age. And then people wonder why, my generations look down on Sean's generation. Anyway. Anywho's. And what's funny is, like I said, there was a dark age from 75 until 88 when a bunch of marine conservationists and biologists basically went to Discovery Channel and said, hey, you want us to make you a ton of money in advertising? Because it created this bizarre paradoxical opportunity. Because these scientists were like, dude, all we have to do is put some cameras in the water and film sharks for like 20 minutes and then interview ourselves explaining what they are. And here's the thing. This week of television which, by the way, they didn't call it Shark Week the first time. They just had these shows about sharks during the summertime in July when everyone's talking about going to the beach and crap like that. They didn't call it Shark Week at first because it was a huge success. It exploded because of the fact that people were so used to the Spielbergian, if you will, image of what a shark is. Which is funny because the more you know about sharks, the harder it is to enjoy that supposedly extremely high budget machine, Bruce, who doesn't look like any kind of shark in particular, actually, the longer you look at it. I'm sorry, it's true. That's another reason I can't enjoy that movie, because it's like, that's not even shaped like a great white. Not even taking the size thing into account, that looks nothing like a real shark. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it costs like over $1 million in today's economy and that it only worked a quarter of the time. The fact of the matter is, it's actually not a very lifelike monster. It's a cool, big, scary monster, sure. But a shark? No. It is not. I'm going to get a lawsuit, I guarantee. We're going to get, tomorrow there's going to be a dude knocking at our door. Hello there, I'm the legal representative to the Spielberg franchise. Bite me. Anyway. So, yeah, it turned out Shark Week was a gold mine because, yeah, you give some nerds a couple cameras, a budget of a few $1,000s, and I hate that I have to say this, but I'm going to have to. There was such a novelty in the truth, just talking about sharks as they actually are, what they really do, what they really look like. People's minds were blown about this. It doesn't help that you also had back in the, I want to say the 60s, National Geographic was, yeah, by the way, we're totally getting sued because I'm about to say it. National Geographic released tons of inaccurate information, which is funny that you can actually still see. You can find these archival videos and documentaries that National Geographic did about sharks where they outright claim that a shark's skin is so tough you can bend a knife against it. Which is, by the way, one of my favorite hoaxes of all time because they did it so badly. No, this is a thing. This is a thing that National Geographic used to a sport. That if you tried to stab a shark, it would bend the knife. And they showed footage of a diver poking a knife at what was actually a blue shark, by the way. Which, by the way, no fair picking on bull sharks or blue sharks. Okay, they're basically cowards. That's like picking on a black bear. Okay, it's not fair. You know, try that crap with a tiger. I dare you. But anyway, if you watch the video, the diver pokes the shark with a knife. The knife folds like it's bending, and then he pulls the knife away, and it straightens out again. Because it was a rubber knife. Yeah. And it led to actually a bunch of people getting hurt because they wanted to see if a shark would really bend a knife. And it turns out sharks don't appreciate being stabbed. But anyway, yeah. Barbie or Oppenheimer? Well, I don't want to kill my brain cells, so I'm not going to go see Barbie. And I don't really want to feel manically depressed, so I probably won't go see Oppenheimer either. You don't know. You know what I'm going to do? You want to talk? Yeah, what movie? You know what movie I'm going to watch? Big Trouble in Little China. There is never a time to not watch Big Trouble in Little China. Don't look at me like that. Anyway, I swear to God, I better see somebody do a quote from that movie in the chat, or I will disappoint in all of you.
All in the reflexes.
All in the reflexes. Anyway, though, back to my point. It was such a mind-blowing thing because prior to Shark Week, they had National Geographic, which bold-faced lied about sharks, and they had Spielberg, who outright lied about sharks. And it's one of those things, you know, the truth shall set you free. Which, by the way, Bishop, is that actually in the Bible? Everyone always says it like it's a biblical quote, and I was thinking about the other day. Is that actually a biblical quote?
Yes.
Anyway, well, anyhow. It was this massive success for very little investment, actually. I mean, you'd be surprised, comparatively speaking, how cheap it is to actually have an expedition. It is, okay. Neat.
John 8:31.
Okay, New Testament.
Or 8:32, yeah.
Okay, anyway. You'd be amazed how cheap, actually, having a handful of nerds go out into the ocean with cameras will actually be. Especially when they don't go and get themselves hurt doing stupid stunts to try and make myths, like the knives bend against shark skin. Oh, yes! Funny story about myself. I actually had a friend named Mike who worked at SeaWorld. He specifically helped take care of the sharks at the shark encounter. And every year my family would go to SeaWorld. And that was like the one that I didn't give a damn about your killer whales or your dolphins or your stinger. Nope. I wanted to see the sharks. Even though, admittedly, the shark encounter was kind of scary to me when I was like really little. You know, the first couple times I went, I was kind of intimidated by it. But anyway, it's a pretty... Dude, the original shark... I haven't seen it in decades, so I don't know how it looks now. But the original shark encounter was... It was a combination of being absolutely beautiful and purely horrifying. Which, I mean, that kind of sums up sharks in general, I would argue. But anyway, and he actually ended up being... my friend Mike actually ended up being on a documentary during Shark Week. I remember he used to always send us Christmas cards. And I remember sometimes he would sign like random names like they were from the sharks. But paging Doctor. Oh, yeah. Sean? What is your problem? Do you need a doctor to surgically remove the stick from your butt tonight? You're not even being funny, Chaos. You're just grumpy. You okay? Are you mad because you didn't get to milk a minotaur while you were in Greece? That's the thing you do in Greece, isn't it? There you go. Thank you, Connie. Anyway, you know, honestly, we could talk about that goddamn movie sometime. There's a whole mythology behind that one. But anyway, not what we're talking about. Anyway, I've always had very close ties to sharks, and I've loved Shark Week. I will admit it's kind of funny because they had to relearn their lesson. A lot of people over the past few years have said that Shark Week isn't Shark Week anymore. It was actually pretty terrible, with appearances by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Honey Boo Boo and her mother. I'm not joking, by the way. And an entire late-night talk show with, of course, Stephen Colbert, Pfizer's customer employee of the year. Shark After Dark. Really? Shark After Dark? It was just absolutely terrible. And here's the thing I think is hilarious. Because we all know why they did it. They did it for social media. They did it for memes. But the thing is that memes aren't actually popular. There's a saying that any attention is good attention. No, it's not. Just ask the sharks. There is such a thing as bad publicity, and there is such a thing as bad attention. And, credit where credit's due. Let's give the devil his due here. Zaslav, he must have pulled his head out of his butt just long enough to realize, wait a second, a bunch of nerds with cameras are cheaper than a bunch of arrogant, overpaid reality stars. Holy cow. And what do we have? We actually have stuff about sharks on Shark Week. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I mean, yeah, we had Jason Momoa, but one, at least he himself is a fish nerd too. And two, at least we all know him as Aquaman, so at least he ties to sharks and stuff like that. He's probably like one of the 5 actors alive that I actually can stomach, like, at all. I kind of like him. Anyway, though. I remember that too. Yeah, trading cards. He would send me all kinds of stuff from SeaWorld. Um, but anyway, but real quick, the one thing that sucks though about Sean was mentioning being old and stuff. You know what the one thing that really sucks about being old? No one asks you what your favorite shark is. Nobody cares. No one has that interest anymore. Wait, hold on. Wait, what? What is this blasphemy I'm seeing in the chat, Tara? They don't have a tunnel in the San Antonio SeaWorld. We were having a good time. We were having a nice conversation. And you just dropped it. Thanks a lot, Oppenheimer. Yeah, no, the voodoo shark thing, Sean, that was tragically, yeah, that was Shark Week. A bunch of rednecks who were totally not, the Duck Dynasty guys, having lost all their health, but they intentionally ticked off a voodoo priestess, had her curse them with a voodoo doll to be bitten by a shark, and then went out swimming to see if a shark would bite them. When I see that kind of stuff, I can't help but wonder, when the mule kicked you, did he hit you with both hooves or just one? Anyway, but no, real quick, in the chat. Come on, chat. We got a talkative chat today. What's your favorite shark? It's funny because there's it's weird because there's actually debate over how many species of shark we know. But roughly speaking, depending on who you ask, it's somewhere between 400 and just over 500. Now, the reason that there's some confusion about that is some sharks are very similar, and then you have some that are actually known as different names in different locations. Basking sharks are awesome, yeah. Personally, the derp shark. That's what they are, the derp shark. Anyway, personally, I my favorite is the hammerhead. Although I also love blues and bull sharks. Green Bay shark. Do you mean the Greenland shark? Because the Greenland shark is not doesn't eat krill and You are almost certainly thinking of the basking shark. The Greenland shark is a predator who actually will eat anything, including attacking polar bears, actually. Whale shark, yeah. That's another thing that made me absolutely despise the Shark Week in the past years. You had Tara Reid from Sharknado, literally, with a straight face, look at the camera and say that a whale shark is what happens when a shark and a whale make whoopee. I have nightmares about how painfully stupid that statement is. And then you have people that sit there and hold up the Sharknado movies as like they're the greatest thing ever. It's like, no, they're terrible. Okay, I have put more effort into bowel movements than was put into all of Sharknado, okay? Anyway, basking sharks are filter feeders. They eat krill and stuff, and that's why they have the derpy face with the mouth always open. Fun side note, a lot of people actually mistake great whites and basking sharks for each other, which is not something you want to do when you're trying to swim with them. There is nothing worse than diving into the water and then jumping back out of the water going, not a basking, not a basking, which is actually a video I saw the other day. These people were like, yay, we're going to swim with basking sharks. And they dive in and then they just start jumping back out of the water. It's like, that's not a basking shark. But anyway, personally, I love the hammerhead. They're so weird. some people refer to them as the evolutionary enigma, because there's only there's a few species of hammerheads. The most commonly known are the scalloped hammerhead, who's the one you're probably thinking of. Yeah, they still to this day kind of flummox a lot of marine biologists, because there's really no definable reason for why they would grow and evolve in such a way to have that weird shaped head. I mean, I don't know either. The big theory is that it helps them with vision, because they can turn their head and get like a almost 360 scope of their surroundings. Other people argue it's because they have more electrosensitive nerves at the end of their snout, which help them hunt. Because most hammerheads are actually bottom feeders. They mostly eat shellfish and rays and starfish, which are all creatures that like to hide in the sand. So they have to kind of scan, so to speak, the sand, picking up electrosensitive signals, so they know where to basically dig into the ground and get lunch. Oh my God, we actually agree on something, Sean. I did not expect that. I'm dead serious. I knew the second I made a joke about Sharknado, I was like, Sean's going to come to its defense. And he's like, no, its problem is that it's bad and it knows it and it just uses it as an excuse. Oh my God. The Lord of Chaos has finally made a good point. Anyway, though, for the record, we're kind of just shooting the shit and talking today. But anyway, another one of the sharks I love is the blue shark, which is funny because it has probably one of the most metal, actually two of the most metal nicknames you could imagine. And it's actually a very timid, fragile creature. But they are known by several nicknames, including the wolves of the sea, which, I mean, you can't get much more cooler than that. But they also were sometimes referred to as the Blue Death. Now, what's interesting about blue sharks is they're very intelligent. They're kind of nerd. They're kind of nerdy. They're nerdy sharks. They also swim in big schools to protect themselves, because individually they're actually kind of small and fragile. Beautiful animals, though. I love you too, Sean. Anyway, though. But no, they're very intelligent, and they very quickly figured out when Europeans started sailing across the Atlantic. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that, Tara, and just talk about tiger sharks. Yeah, tiger sharks are another awesome species, very common. Another beautiful animal. They can get big. But anyway, I'll talk about them in a second. Anyway, blue sharks, it's one of those things, you know, when they're relatively small for a shark. They only get around 6 or 7 feet long. But when you're small like that, you've got to be smart. And they are. Because as Europeans became more fond of traveling the ocean, the Atlantic specifically, blue sharks realized that, you know, you can't keep trash and garbage on your ship, so they would often just throw stuff overboard. Well, see, here's the thing. You may not want to eat an apple core, but to a blue shark out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, that apple core looks pretty good. And so they learned to follow the boats and ships and just eat whatever they dropped. Unfortunately, this created a bit of a habit of where the blues would swarm anything that comes off of these boats, including people. Which has to be one of the most horrifying ways to die. You know, out in the middle of the water, knowing there's nothing you can reach for safety, and you just see these streaks of silver flickering in the water underneath you. And they're terrified, because the reason they're known as wolves of the sea is because they use pack tactics, and they're very, very smart. What they'll actually do is the bigger ones, who, you know, can take a hit, they'll actually swim around kind of sporadically to draw attention to themselves and then the smaller ones will actually move in, usually from below, and actually bite onto and attack. There are stories of them actually attacking whales this way. I mean, like humpbacks and the filter feeder whales, things like that. Something going on in the chat? Goblin sharks, yeah. Yeah, great whites and goblin sharks are cool too. But anyway, the blues usually they eat smaller things. They love squid. They love to go after squid, but there are stories that they will actually attack as a pack and take on things like great whites or filter feeder whales. Which, to be fair, as cool as that sounds, I'm going to just burst everyone's bubble with this one and debunk the myth. Most filter feeder whales don't live in the same waters that you would find blue sharks. So while it's plausible that a big enough shiver, by the way, that's what a group of sharks is called, a shiver. A big enough shiver probably could take down something like a humpback whale, especially if it was like a young one or if it was sick or something. But the opportunity probably would never present itself realistically because they live in different parts of the oceans. It's one of those things. It's plausible, but there's no grounds for it to actually happen. Great whites, on the other hand, they do overlap a little bit. Great whites prefer coastal water. But anyway, they became known. Blue sharks became known as the Blue Death because if somebody fell overboard, you're in a galleon that's going one direction. Those things don't turn around, not very quickly, not very efficiently, if at all. They wouldn't be able to save you, and so the sharks, they wouldn't know any better. I mean, they eat everything that gets thrown off that boat. Why wouldn't they eat this big thing? And so you have a situation where sailors would get to port and they'd have to take a tally of, everybody on board and stuff. And it's like, hey, wait, where's John? Well, the polite way to say it would be he contracted the Blue Death. Meaning he fell overboard and the blue sharks attacked him. But that's something that's funny is because everyone talks about how dolphins will follow boats and so modernly, yeah. But the original creatures of the ocean that adapted to naval transportation are the blues. Blue sharks were documented following and pursuing boats long before dolphins ever did. Yes, actually, the story of walking the plank and the sharks swimming around underneath, that is accurate. They probably wouldn't be big honking great whites like they show in the movies, but no, there'd be blue sharks waiting down there because, food comes out of these big wooden things. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. What was the battleship? Indianapolis. You're thinking of the Indianapolis. Which is funny because it lives in such infamy, partly because of Jaws, which references it. What's funny is actually not that many people were attacked by sharks. More people died from exposure and drinking the salt water. Don't drink the water in the ocean. It will kill you. In probably one of the worst ways to die imaginable. Because what people don't realize about salt water is your body tries to avoid it. So if you drink enough of it, it'll force you to expunge a lot of moisture from your body. And how do I put this politely? By any means necessary. So let's just say it's a pretty shitty way to die if you drink too much salt water. Which is funny because I've also heard that like a little bit of salt water is good for heartburn. Make sense of that one. I don't know. I heard it online. So it must be true, right? I mean, the internet is where Tara Reid, the bastion of shark knowledge, comes from. I will never forgive her for that. I will never... Tara talks about how she can't unsee the Chippendale dancer punching a shark with his dick. I can't unsee hearing Tara Reid say something so profoundly, and I do mean profoundly, stupid. Meanwhile, this chick's on strike right now demanding more millions of dollars. I'm allowed to have an opinion, bite me. Anyway, though, but speaking of biting things, we love to talk about cryptids and monsters and stuff like that. And I actually have a couple cryptid sharks here that we're going to talk about tonight. Now that we're almost 40 minutes into the show. With our fastest start. Wow, we were talking. We were having fun with this, weren't we, guys? Really? Wait, hold on. The Indianapolis, transported one of the atomic bombs? Yeah, a single glass of salt water won't kill you, but I'm talking about the people in the Indianapolis wreck. That was all they drank, for all through the day. And I remember there was this one documentary. There was he was a priest on board the ship, and he was saying how he would see men drink the water around them, and he just knew that they were going to die next. And he even confessed that there were a few bodies he gave the last rites to. He wasn't sure if they were actually dead yet or not. And it kind of haunted him. It still haunts him. I don't know if he's still alive today. I mean, but anyway. So yeah, the Indianapolis was a horrible thing, but the involvement of sharks in that situation actually is kind of blown out of proportion. The first one, that was Fat Man, because it was Fat Man and Little Boy, or Fat Boy and Little Man.
Fat Man and Little Boy.
Hello, Big Al. Big Al, you're a friend of Troy, right?
Little Boy was the first one dropped.
Little Boy was the first bomb. Okay. I'm just looking through the chat, and it's, yeah. I knew this was going to be a fun episode, but I also knew I was going to be unable to not say some things that I'm sure people are like, you shouldn't say that. It's like, well, too late. Anyway, though. But no, we have some cryptids here. And let me see here. The first one that I'm going to bring up actually is one that I've mentioned very briefly before. We did an episode, I think it was our very first episode, we talked about cryptids. And I said, stay out of the waters around California. In fact, avoid California in general if you can. Okay? And we mentioned the Black Devil, which some people refer to as the Black Demon. He is supposedly a very large jet black shark that you can supposedly... And that's the thing, they still claim they see him today. Lots of people claim to see it and take pictures of it. It apparently lives around the Baja Peninsula, which is actually part of Mexico, not California, if now I think about it. Yeah, Baja Peninsula, that's Mexico, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, and like I said, we briefly mentioned it, so I'm going to go a bit more into it. What are you doing down there? Anyway, so the first documented sighting of this creature was in actually 2008. And I almost didn't want to talk about him because I realized that literally like just a couple months ago, there was a movie released called Black Demon, which is basically an Asylum Pictures level quality ripoff of The Meg. Which, by the way, The Meg 2 is coming out like next week, I think. I actually thought the Meg movie wasn't bad. It clearly suffered from having a PG rating or a PG-13 rating, when the book is actually pretty freaking brutal and graphic. But yeah, there's a sequel coming out. But anyway, so I almost didn't want to talk about this because, from what I've heard, the movie is bad. Like, I wasn't joking when I said it was an Asylum Pictures quality. I love Doritos. Anyway, but it's described as looking kind of like a great white, except it's jet black completely. Now, great white sharks are black. They have black backs and white bellies. This creature is pure black, which it could be. I forget the scientific term. It's basically the opposite of being an albino. Which, by the way, we've seen albino great whites, and we'll talk about those a little bit later. But the black demon, it's weird because it was first seen in 2008, and it's been seen constantly since then. Everybody has their own blurry picture that they claim is of the black demon. Some stories are really weird. They say the stories tell the creature goes from being around 20 to 60 feet long. Now, great whites can get about 20 feet long. That's true. Not 60, though, as you can guess. Some stories even say that it's hideous looking, that it's like got scars and stuff, and is actually described as growing out of its own skin. Like it's too big for its own skin, like ripping out of its own body. Which I hope not, because that sounds painful in salt water. Could you imagine? In salt water, your muscles are so big they grow out of your skin, so you have all these like rips and tears in your skin, and you're in salt water. That sounds like the most horrible existence. I feel bad if this creature actually looks like that. What's interesting is that even in the stories where it's like 60 feet long, it's very skittish. Much like Bigfoot, anytime that it becomes aware, there's people looking at it or watching it or even nearby, it spreads its butt cheeks, I guess, if you believe certain therapists, and just swims away. But yeah, it's very strange. And real quick, because this is something that annoys me. Whenever you try and talk about creatures like Megalodon or the Black Demon and so on, people love to sit there and say, well, a predator couldn't be 60 feet long and live. It wouldn't be able to sustain itself. There's not enough food in the ocean. Real quick, there's not enough food in the oceans. I repeat my question from before. Did the mule hit you with both hooves when it kicked you in the head, or just one? I actually saw that. Because again, I'm looking up research about this, and there was somebody who commented on the internet saying that the ocean could not sustain a 60-foot predator. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. First of all, sperm whales are predators, and they get just under 60 feet long. So there's already one species. Secondly, and this is what annoys me, it's like, okay, with fishing lore, there's a rule with fishermen's stories. For anything involving the sea, you have to remember the fisherman's rule. That it was this big. Every fisherman's tale doubles the size of the creature. So, to be fair, if they say that the black demon is like 60 feet long, he's probably closer to 30 or 40 feet long. For two reasons. One is everyone embellishes the story when it comes to this stuff. You know what I mean? It's the nature of how humans tell stories. We, of course, want to tell the best story possible, and so it just kind of comes out that we make it bigger and larger than life. It's not to say people are lying about the black devil or black demon, whatever you want to call him. It's that it just comes natural to, elevate your own stories. So, of course, people are going to see this creature and say that it's insanely huge. But here's the thing. Even if they're making it up, and it's not 60 feet long, it's only 30 feet long, that would still make it about 10 feet longer than any great white we've ever encountered. That is still a massive animal. Okay? And for the record, yes, the ocean could sustain and hold life forms that are predatory, that are easily 30, 40, 50, 60 feet long, because we know it already does. How's everything going in here? Oh, hi, Dakota. Yeah, Al, I just mentioned the movie. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard it's horrible. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, though, and it's weird that it has such a fearful name, like the Black Demon. But supposedly it's incredibly skittish and shy, and wants nothing to do with people, will just try to get away from you as quick as possible. To my knowledge, there's no accounts of it ever attacking anyone. And also, back to proving the point about food sources, you know what else lives in actually pretty good numbers around Baja Peninsula? Whale sharks. Big, dumb, relatively slow-moving plant eaters that would be perfect prey for a, hypothetically, 50 or 60 foot long great white shark. That would be perfect food. Not that I'm endorsing that, by the way. It's disgusting and horrible and unethical to actually eat sharks. And if that culturally offends you, good. You deserve it. It's my damn channel. I don't have to respect anyone. Shark fin soup is disgusting. And for the record, because I know some guy who lives in the bushes will be like, well, how can you say that? You've never tried it. Yes, I have. It literally tastes like snot. It is disgusting. It is cartilage in bean broth. It is one of the worst things I've ever put in my mouth. Anyway, though, back to my point. No, I would personally, in the terms of how possible is it for the black demon to be real, I would honestly say it's pretty high up there. Because, I mean, it could be a genetic anomaly, reverse albinoism. It has a term. I don't know what the term is. When the kobold's out here, we'll ask him. I guarantee you he knows. We know that animals like that exist. I mean, and yeah, it has big, easy prey living in those waters. Why couldn't great whites get to 30, 40 feet long? Which, of course, gets embellished into bigger and bigger and bigger. Anyway, though. But that's actually the black demon. It's funny. So many people claim to have pictures of the black demon, and every picture I've seen is horrible. Like, this thing, I've heard some people joke that it actually is some kind of spirit or a demon, because some reason, whenever somebody sees this thing in the water, they take a picture of it, and the picture is distorted and blurred or just bad. And that's why some people actually joke that maybe it is a demon. Maybe, or some kind of a spirit. Which goes back to what I was saying when I first started. Sharks have always been tied to spirituality and even religions. There was actually something I heard not too long ago. Some people claim in the Bible there's the story of Jonah. who was swallowed by the whale. I've heard some people argue, well, actually, first of all, the translation from Hebrew into English would actually be fish, not whale. And I've heard some people even go so far in saying that it could have been a shark. Which, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Well, I guess God's advocate here, and argue, you know what? If we're talking about a dude surviving being swallowed by a whale and barfed up onto a beach 3 days later, something like that. I don't know how long. Anyway, you know what? A whale, a fish, or a shark, they all sound as plausible as any of the others. We have to look that up now, because I know I don't know. I want to say it was 3 days. But I'm probably wrong. I'm probably thinking of Jesus. Jesus was in the tomb for 3 days, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, though. I'm sure Sean's going to just get on like, oh, paging Dr. Bible again.
3 days and 3 nights, yeah.
Yeah, 3 days, 3 nights. Okay, anyway, I was right.
And I've never heard of any Bible ever call it a whale.
Oh. The opposite of albino is melanism? Melanism is the opposite of albino? Is that what that is, Dakota? Melanism? Melanism. Hey, wait a minute. I thought you weren't supposed to be watching my shows. Don't worry, we won't tell anyone. Anyway, see, I'm surprised Sean didn't come in and answer that one. Anyway, though. But yeah, that's... He's not only busted for watching the show, he's busted for Googling. Anyway, as if we don't do that here. Which, by the way, they can hear you furiously tapping on your keyboard. Anyway, though. But that was the Black Demon. Who or whatever it is. Whether it's some kind of spirit that doesn't like its picture being taken, or it's a freak of nature. Which, by the way, 2008, 2023, that's... How many years is that? 15? You know, it's interesting. It could be a single freak of nature, because to my knowledge, great white sharks live around 30 years in the wild, roughly. So that would mean that this thing would be... and actually, okay... In 2008, it's a pup. It's 20 feet long. It's grown up, and over the course of 15 years, it's tripled in size. That sounds about right. Shit, dude. Humans, how many times bigger do you get from being a baby to a full-grown adult? Like 3 or 4? Yeah, no, this could be a single freak of nature who just has found, like, the perfect niche place to survive. Yeah, I've heard, a couple aquariums have whale sharks. It's funny, no one's been able to keep a great white for more than, like, half a year. I think the record was Australia had an aquarium that kept a great white for 6 months. Oh, you've heard it before. Dakota did not have to Google it. Okay. Scout's honor. Anyway, though. But no, yeah. Whale sharks. It's funny, people used to love swimming with whale sharks. There is some questions about if that's stressful to the animal. I can't say for personally, because when you're as big as a bus, I don't think a human will bother you for very long, if you get what I mean, and I think you do. It's funny, people are like, well, whale sharks don't have teeth. No, they do not. They do have a mouth big enough for you to lay in, and bone jaws that can crush you into paste. Or they have a tail that can literally jettison people into the air from the water. No, I've seen videos of whale sharks thrash their tail and literally knock something out of the water. They are extremely powerful animals. So if you were bothering a whale shark, you would know very, very quickly. These are, they're pretty lethargic. A lot of people like think they're, that they're harmless because they're so slow. Yeah, but you don't need to move very fast when you can hit somebody like you're the size of a goddamn bus. But anyway, we have some other monsters here to talk. Well, cryptids, I should say, to talk about. And I'm almost certain I'm going to spell or pronounce this name wrong. The Malpelo monster. This is a, let's see here, was first seen in 2001 actually. Supposedly is a 15-foot long female shark. They specifically seen, this is one particular creature. This is a specific shark. And it's basically its proportions are all wrong. It's 15 feet long, and a lot of people say that it's a sand tiger shark, which you may also know as a gray nurse shark, or as a blue nurse sand shark, or as a raggy tooth shark, or as a spotted raggy shark. I'm not joking. This one species of shark has literally a different name in every coastline that you can find it in. The common name, the one name that I'm always familiar with, was sand tiger. And it's funny, they're called sand tiger sharks. You would think that they're really aggressive and dangerous. No, they're basically cows. They're fat, relatively slow-moving, pretty lethargic animals who, they can suddenly burst in speed, but they're pretty much, and I'm actually going to quote Steve Irwin himself on this, they're cows with fins and scary teeth. That's one of the reasons that actually they have so many of them in aquariums. They're easy to take care of, and they really are pretty complacent. They really don't care as long as they have food. It's hard to tick one off, thankfully, because there's plenty of stupid people in the world who try to swim with them. You wouldn't think a creature who's like 500 pounds, I think. No, I think they're closer to 1,000 off the top of my head. You wouldn't think that it could move fast. It can when it wants to. And while they don't eat people, they can deliver a very nasty bite. Because they have teeth that are about as long as your pinky and are hooked. Because that's how they kill and capture their prey. They bite in with these hooked teeth, and they actually hold small fish in their mouth, and they just wait for the fish to stop struggling and die from being impaled on a bed of nails, basically, and then they eat it. But yeah, their teeth are not serrated. Everything going good? I love my sister and my nephew are just arguing now, and my nephew seems to have forgotten. Mom can turn the internet off. Anyway, though, yeah. So Malpelo is weird. It's described as looking like a sand tiger shark, but being 15 feet long, which is massive for a sand tiger. They usually only get around 8 or 9 feet long. Though a few have been seen slightly bigger than that, they're usually not that size. But the thing that's interesting about her, and it is specifically a female, is that it is perfectly symmetrical fin placement. Most sharks, the fins aren't symmetrical, actually. But for this creature, they are. The dorsal fin and the pectoral fins are all exactly symmetrical, which is not how a sand tiger looks. Another thing, some of the stories claim, is that she has huge eyes, which is another thing you don't see with sand tiger, or sharks in general. Sharks don't generally have very big eyes, comparatively, I should say. I mean, you have something that's 20 feet long, like a great white shark. Yeah, its eyes are pretty good size, but to its body, she supposedly has a very big eyes. Let me see here. Hold on. And what's interesting is that, like, they claim that they know exactly where to find her. If you want to see Malpelo, they can tell you exactly where to go. She likes to stay about 160 feet below the surface, but she's been seen up and down the coast of Colombia. And she's very skittish and shy. She doesn't like people. She swims away from people whenever she sees them, just like the demon, by the way. Actually, come to think of it, hold on a second. I'm trying to get my geography right. No. Colombia and Baja are nowhere near each other. They would never encounter each other. No, in fact, they'd be on the other side. Colombia is on the east side of South America. So yeah, they'd have a whole continent between them. Okay, so they wouldn't be. But they supposedly both have the same MO. They're perfectly calm creatures that they're not aggressive. No one's been attacked by it, despite the fact that people constantly go looking for this animal to get pictures of her. They think it's one specific one. They don't think it's a species or something. They think Malpelo, which I think is named after the beach that they were sailing out of when they first encountered her. I'm not sure why they call it that. I don't know if that means... Does that mean something in Spanish? Malpelo? Is that a region? Malpelo. Malpelo. But yeah, they call her the Malpelo monster or just Malpelo. Oh, it's an island. Okay, so maybe she's probably seen around the island, and that's why they call her that. She's named after the island. But yeah, it's I think it's kind of funny that, like, with sharks, they have such a fearsome reputation. They're so legendarily scary. And then you read up on shark cryptids, and they're these skittish creatures that want nothing to do with people and run away as quick as possible. It's like black bears. Everyone's like, bears are so scary and mean. You could fart and scare a black bear away. And I know this for a fact. I've heard people literally say that they did that. Oh, I was out camping and there were some bears, and I burped really loud, and the bears actually freaked out and climbed up a tree. They're very skittish, frightened animals despite their fearsome persona. And that's kind of how it is with these supposedly giant sharks. But yeah, no, people seek out Malpelo all the time, from what I understand. Everybody, and just like with the Black Demon, nobody can get a good picture of this creature. But she, personally, I'd have to argue 23 years, because she was seen in 2001. Let's assume that was like when she was 15 feet long, so she'd have to be she couldn't have just been born. So at best, she's what, from 2000? 23? Sand tigers can live a pretty good lifetime. They can live probably close to like a great white, 30 years. I think off the top of my head. I don't have my notes. So it could be a specific creature, a specific genetically defected animal that has just somehow survived. But supposedly, yeah, people love to try and swim with her and see her. And just like the Black Demon, she's not going to hurt you. She's not aggressive. She's not dangerous. I would recommend don't make any loud noise. You'll probably scare the poor thing. Don't do that. Don't pick on cryptid sharks, okay? Leave them alone. But they can't... Well, they'd have to work up the nerve to kill you first, Mr. Bishop. I'm just going to point that out. I mean, yeah, they have big claws and teeth. Yeah, they could probably hurt a person, but it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, how blue sharks could kill a whale, but there's no opportunity for that to happen in the first place. So it's like, it works on paper, but in truth, it's pretty much a myth. I think that's where black bears killing a person would go. Dakota's going to Google black bear killings now and be like, no, wait, some guy who was half drunk. He was running from a bear and fell off a cliff or something. Black bears never kill people. They're not brave enough to kill a person. Well, I guess a mother may be protecting her babies.
A brown bear or a grizzly
Oh, brown.
bear?
Are you kidding? A brown bear will F you up. Brown bear will wreck you and then make you apologize for the inconvenience. Do not mess with the brown bears. At all. Just don't. Don't bully the cryptid sharks, and don't pick fights with brown bears. Stay out of the water in California and stay out of West Virginia. The Vagrancy horror rules to live by. You know, hey, if Jesus had listened to me, he wouldn't be stuck in a temporal loop outside of time and space over a car.
That's true.
I told him. I told every damn episode. Didn't listen to me. Now he exists outside of space of matter.
I've not seen him since he supposedly got back.
He's gonna be mad tonight. He's gonna actually see the show, and he's gonna find out that we ate these peppers. By the way, these are still coming. These Lovecraftian peppers. They're purple. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say the joke I'm thinking of. I'm not gonna say it. But anyway, real quick actually, because we're talking about people swimming with sharks. What about you guys in the chat? Are there any specific sharks you'd be willing to swim with, or you want to swim with? What do you guys think? How are we doing here? Yeah. Real quick, just give a chance to the... Yeah. Oh, I beg your pardon? I pose a legitimate question, and now I'm not the favorite uncle anymore? Sean is? Quiet, you! No one asked your opinion. No one wants to be wrong. Well, my sister would like to swim with whale sharks or hammerheads. Depending on the hammerhead, yeah. So real quick, there's a thing for the past few years people have started doing, and it blows people's minds. Swimming with like whale sharks or great whites, actually, without a tank or a cage. So here's the thing about sharks. Sharks are pretty much across the board. They are creatures of habit. Excuse me. They are creatures of habit, and they are usually ambush attackers. They like to attack things that are not aware of them. You okay over there? Good. And so there's kind of a trick to swimming with great white sharks. I don't personally want to swim with a great white. That's a beautiful animal who deserves respect, and I personally feel that in the case of animals in nature, respect is measured in distance. Give them their space. I don't need to be in the water with a great white. I don't need to be, I don't need to pet a brown bear. That is an animal that I will happily admire from a safe distance, out of respect. But the trick to swimming with great whites is stay on their level. Don't let them be underneath you, and don't get under them, because they'll think you're going to attack them, and that'll tick them off. 9 times out of 10, attacks by sharks, especially great whites, are mistaken identities, or accidental, because sharks don't have hands to explore things. Like I can touch stuff, I can pick things up, I can observe what's going on in the chat. You're all being good. Okay. Sharks cannot do that. The only real way they have to investigate their surroundings is to bite onto things. And the sad problem is when your teeth are essentially a bunch of pneumatic buzzsaws, there is no such thing as a gentle little, love bite. Even a glancing snap or something from a shark, especially like a great white, will rip and tear your flesh. Um, so what you do, if you're in a situation where let's say you have not listened to my words of wisdom, and somehow, some way, you find yourself in the water with like a great white shark or the black demon or something. Number one, calm down, stay calm. Okay, you have to maintain your calmness, because if you allow your heart rate to accelerate, you sound like you're wounded to them. So don't do that. Just stay calm, and then try to stay level with them. Let them see you. And some people say spread out your hands and your legs. Try to look as weird as possible. Because if they can see you, they can observe you're some weird bald monkey thing in the water, then they don't need to investigate you. And you don't look like food, so they don't want to eat you. You know, but that's kind of a trick, is you want to try and stay on their level. Let them see you. Let them see that you are not food. There is another weird trick, and I've only seen this done with the great whites. Some sharks have nerve endings on their snout, and they basically use this nerve to know when there's food in front of them. Because sharks have eyes on the side of their head. They actually have a blind spot, as funny as it sounds, under their nose. And so they have these really sensitive nerve endings there. And if you grab onto the underside of their snout, the way that their body works, they will not be able to close their mouth. Those nerves, when there's pressure applied to them, they force the jaw to open. Now, for the record, that sounds horrifying, because if you're holding its face like this, its mouth is going to be here. But supposedly, and again, I've only seen this done with great whites, if you apply pressure to the underside of the nose, they can't close their mouth on you. Some people say poke them in the eye. That's hopefully not necessary. That would be pretty permanent damage. The fact is, yeah, stay calm and stay where they can see you, so they can understand that you are not something they want to eat or something they need to investigate. You know, but that's like the number one thing, is just be calm. Don't be prey. Don't be food. Don't act like food. And that's the funnier thing too, is great whites are actually, we all see great white sharks jumping out of the water and like biting into tuna heads and attacking seals and stuff. Yes. You know why? Because they load the water with chum and blood before they get that footage or those pictures. When there's no blood, when there's no indication that there's food around, great whites are actually fairly docile. Which makes sense, because, I mean, they're pretty bleeping big. It takes a lot of energy, man. You know, it's the Great Dane thing. You know, Great Danes are these huge dogs, and they, like, barely move, ever. Yeah, because that takes effort. That takes energy. It is not easy. When you are 20 feet freaking long and weigh about a ton, the fact of the matter is the weird bald monkey thrashing around the water probably isn't worth it. So just be calm. Don't freak out and panic, and just make it very clear you're a human, you're not a seal, you're not a wounded fish or something. And a majority of the time, they don't care. They really don't care. You know, and if you absolutely have to, yeah, grab onto the snout. Grab onto the snout, and they, in the case of a great white, they can't close their jaw on you. I don't know if this works for other species. So, for the record, don't try testing this stuff out, okay? I'm just stating a fact that it's actually not as dangerous to be in the water with a great white as some people might tell you. Yes, Tar, it is literally the taste test from hell. I mean, imagine how bad it is for the shark. I can only assume we taste absolutely terrible. I mean, we're oily and salty because we have so many we're covered in pores that sweat. We're probably salty, oily, nasty tasting shit.
And they live in salt.
I know, right? Like, seriously. But anyway, to make a complete ass of myself, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit. Yeah, I know I cursed again. Anyway, and I'm going to talk about probably one of the most violent encounters with a... No, I'd go so far as to say this is the most violent encounter with a cryptid shark. Because 9 times out of 10, cryptid sharks just don't attack people and are actually really timid and skittish. I'm going to try really hard to say this name right. I actually do kind of wish that Jesus wasn't trapped in a time paradox, because he would be able to help me here. I'm probably going to say this name horribly wrong. El Monstro in Kojimar. El Monstro in Kojimar. This is an albino great white shark that was supposedly 21 feet long. It was caught off the coast of Cuba. And what's funny is some people have actually referred to this monster as the Blackbeard of sharks. Mainly because, as we were talking about a couple weeks ago, actually, Blackbeard made that legendary last stand with his 19 loyal crew members. And they fought to the last man, and it was a bloody battle to take him down. It was a bloody battle to take down Monstro here, too. So, supposedly, where was it? Hold on here. Yeah. In 1945, just off the coast of Kojimar, Cuba. Is it Kojimar or Kohimar? Because I know with Spanish, the J sometimes makes an H sound. Anyone familiar with Kojimar, Cuba? Would you be human if it was a source? Okay, I'm just gonna put this down right now. Sean, you can argue your nihilistic stuff all you want, that it's hypocritical, blah blah blah. I don't care. In society, this thing that we have constructed and live by, it is unethical under any circumstance to eat human flesh. You can argue that that's an arbitrary thing. Whoop-de-fraggin'-do. Humanity is arbitrary, okay? I'm just putting this down right now because I'm sick of this, because I always hear this crap. It is not ethical to eat certain life forms, because we have decided that that is unethical. Okay? It is not a matter of definitions and cultures, okay? If you want to eat human flesh, go to Bibbidi Bibbidi and have human flesh there. They eat human flesh there. This is the United States of America, and in this society, in this culture, we have decided it is unethical to eat people! On top of that, why would you want to? Everything I've heard says human tastes like pork. And except for apple smoked pulled pork, I have never had pork that I thought actually tasted good. I'm just having horrible flashbacks to my sister's peanut butter pork chops. That's a horror for another episode, though. I'm just going to calm down now. Hold on a minute. What was I talking about before I got angry? Kojima! Kojimar, Cuba. Is it Kojimar, Cuba, or Kohimar, Cuba? I'm starting to see why Dakota wasn't allowed to watch my show. Anyway, it is just spiraling into madness.
It's mom and son argument on your show.
Apparent fraggin' Lee. Meanwhile, the Lord of Chaos, Sean. Oh, God. Would you eat human flesh if it was ethically sourced? It can't be ethically sourced. That's the definition. Anyway. Just screamed in the microphone. Sorry, guys. I just screamed into the microphone. What was I talking about? Kojima. Okay. Is it pronounced Kojimar or Kohimar?
Probably that's.
Probably the second. Is it the second one? Because I don't know. It's whatever way I say wrong, right? I'll have to ask Jesus later if I can contact him in his trap in the void. Is it pronounced Kojimar or Kohimar? But either way, it doesn't matter. Because they referred to him just as the monster. El Monstro. Kojimar. Okay. Anyway. So basically these 6 fishermen went out onto the coast. And what they had done is they had put out a whole bunch of lines. All with bait. And the strings were tied to buoys. Now the buoys were there for several reasons. One is that it helps create tension against the fish. So when the fish bites onto the hook and starts trying to pull the line, it has this buoy adding resistance on top of the fisherman reeling it in. But what's funny is they had, all 6 of them had lines out with food, and nothing was biting. Nothing was biting. It was just empty. It was really kind of creepy. They even said how it was like, they started getting kind of superstitious, like, should we not be out here? Is there something wrong? You know, what's going, like, this is really weird. This is really strange, you know? And then suddenly, something went along the water and actually took all 6 of their lines and started pulling and actually took the buoys down into the water. Ever seen the movie? Everyone who's seen Jaws, which I'm assuming is everyone, remember how they had those barrels, the big yellow barrels? Think kind of like that, but a smaller scale. Yeah, it's like whatever this thing was shouldn't have been able to pull all 6 of these buoys down into the water, but it did. And for an hour long, and by the way, all these men testified to this. This was like in the newspapers and stuff like that. They all said this. All 6 of them were trying to reel this in because they realized something big had gotten snared up in all of their lines at the same time. And according to their testimony, it was over an hour. Over an hour, 60 minutes that this thing was fighting them. And then it suddenly stopped. And one of them, the youngest person there, literally said, did it die? Did it get free of the hooks? Is it gone? And supposedly, all 5 of the other fishermen looked at him and called him estúpido, meaning stupid. Because what happened was whatever had hooked onto these lines turned around and started charging their boat. And they realized to their horror that this was a 21-foot long albino great white shark. And it smashed into the side of their boat. And supposedly in the story they claim, and they actually showed the pictures of the boat, this was true, the shark came out of the water and bit onto the boat and literally tore a piece away. It literally took a bite out of their boat and resumed fighting to get loose from these lines. And they realized this thing wasn't going to stop. It was going to destroy their boat in order to get loose from these lines. And so they tried to start striking at it with paddles while others were reeling it on. And one of them claimed it actually looked at him, like specifically locked eyes with him, and then it swam away. And again, it's still on the lines, and they're all like, is it trying to run away again? No, it was not. It was just getting distance so it could build up momentum again. Because once again, it went out as far as it could get away from them on the lines, and then they saw it turn around and just bull charge their boat again. And this time, it bit onto the rudder of the ship. And one of the men realized, this is it. If this thing is able to bite and remove this piece of the boat, we're going to sink. So he grabbed a harpoon. I'm not joking. A harpoon. Ran to the back of the boat and started stabbing it, and supposedly had to stab it repeatedly in the head, into its brain. And this thing would not stop. It was still biting and chomping and thrashing at the rudder. And, like, as you can guess, some of the men claimed they had spiritual moments. They were calling on Jesus here. Because this thing was about to sink their boat, and it was angry. It was very angry. They all said that it wasn't acting like a fish trying to get off a line. It was trying to attack them. It was trying to destroy their boat. It wanted to kill them. And supposedly it was 6 times. 6 times they actually drove the spear into this thing's head before it even started to back off. But apparently they had managed to wound it enough to where it did finally go belly up and die. And the men literally had to pull the lines in and secure it to the side of the boat and paddle and use their hands or paddles to just get close enough to the shore, because the boat was going down. It was sinking. But they did make it to shore. And they all... By the way, this happened on a Sunday. So they were like, oh man, we're not supposed to even be out here. This is supposed to be a day of rest, and we're fighting this monster. Maybe you shouldn't go fishing on Sunday, you know? Just... Man, that's the meanest... That'd be the meanest prank. Jesus just sitting up there on a cloud or something. You should have been in church. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't care how sacrilegious this is. That's funny. It's like, you should have gone to church. Oh, you want to go fishing instead of church? Okay. Here you go. Here's the big one. 21-foot albino shark that specifically wants to sink your boat. But no, they literally claimed it was like a religious experience. These 6 men were like, no, this was not a normal shark. It may have... They don't know what it was, but they claimed it wasn't a shark. And here's the thing. They got it in. They took a picture of it. And you know what they did? They were so scared of it, because they were convinced this thing was something supernatural. And they were convinced that they had done something wrong, and this shark was a punishment to them. That they got a different boat, because the one they had kind of came down with a severe case of bite marks in it. And they actually took the shark back out into the water, and they left its body there. They gave it back to the sea, so to speak. Because, like I said, they swore it was almost divine in nature. It was something not of this earth. It was something very different. Some people have tried to debunk this story, claiming that it was only 16 feet long, and they show up a photo of these guys with a much smaller great white shark. The problem with that is that the photos that they have are all kind of questionable, and it really comes down to, well, I heard from a friend of a friend that this is the real photo, or that's the real photo, but they supposedly did take a picture of it. They did take a picture standing with it. They did measure it. It was 21 feet long, but they were so convinced that it wasn't just a normal shark that they didn't keep it. They put it back out in the ocean. I'm not sure what do you do in that situation? You know, like you killed it. What do you do? That sounds like a good way to get cursed one way or the other, you know? I don't know. What do you do, chat? If you, after an hour-long battle, probably an hour and a half, you fight this albino 21-foot-long shark, and you end up killing it, do you keep it and, like, use it for food, or do you put it back in the ocean? Like, what do you do? What is the right answer there? I mean, I think you're cursed either way. You're cursed. I knew it. I knew Mr. Bishop would say, I'd eat it.
Try it, I guess.
Well, me personally, I don't want. No, I wouldn't eat shark meat. No. First of all, it has to be treated very specially, or it's poisonous because of mercury in their blood. And secondly, no, that's a beautiful animal. No, you eat pigs and cows, okay, and maybe a goat. I can hear Jesus from the void screaming, "You better eat the goat." Sean! I could have grabbed Arbor from its skin. Well, I mean, shark skin now, okay, to be fair, no, shark skin will not bend a knife, but it is very tough and very durable, because it's actually, they have a weird name. Their scales are basically made of enamel, like our teeth, actually. There's a specific term for them, like dectite, I think is the term for the scales of a shark, is a dectite or dictite. But yeah, their skin is essentially enamel. Or dictile?
Denticles.
Denticles?
Denticles.
Denticles? Yeah. But anyway,
yeah,
their teeth are their skin is made of what we have teeth. And it is a proven fact that yes, you can use shark skin like sandpaper to actually. No, this is a real thing. You know, there's a part of me that thinks that, you know what? A suit of armor made from an albino great white shark, that does sound kind of badass, but at the same time, I wouldn't and I will not condone the killing of a beautiful animal like that. I mean, I get that they were basically trying to defend themselves. They weren't fishing for great whites. Although they all claimed that they had a bad feeling, like they felt like they weren't, like something was wrong, like they shouldn't have been out there. And some people tell the story kind of jokingly that yeah, they skipped out on church to go fishing. So I mean, hey, what's that quote? Ask and you shall receive. You want to catch the big one, huh? Okay, here you go. Send in the shark. Just saying. But I have to give the Chaos Lord his due here. An albino shark skin suit of armor does sound kind of awesome. Still, no, but it is awesome. What's that meme? He's out of line, but he's not wrong. It's from a Disney show, I think. It's like he's out of line, but he's not wrong. Dakota would eat it. See, I'm curious what Tara would say. Tara, what do you think? What do you think, Tara? Suddenly she's quiet. Before she wouldn't. Seriously, this whole chat has been just her and Dakota arguing. And now Tara won't talk. I'm curious what Tara said. The last thing Tara said in the chat was, screw society, eat the rich. Okay. She's out of line, but she's not wrong. I mean, most of them are fat. Whoa!
Oh yeah, we got a storm coming in. I've been hearing the thunder.
Someone object to that joke? You guys can't see it, but there was like this super bright flash of lightning right after I said, yeah, they're pretty fatty, aren't they? I hope they heard that.
I've been watching how my computer is coming in.
The chat is carnage. Well, of course, we have our resident Lord of Chaos here. But anyway, but yeah, that's El Monstro in Kojimar. The Blackbeard of sharks, because it made this valiant last stand and violent end, rather than be taken alive by fishermen. May have been a punishment from God. Who knows? I died.
I hope they saw the flash on camera.
Well, hold on. Did we lose the show?
No, we're still on.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got everything's good.
we're good.
I think he's saying you just died.
No, we're here from what I can tell. Yeah, Mr. Bishop, we have lightning and thunder too.
No, we got it.
Okay, we're good. We're not dead. My sister says she would mount it on the wall. You would mount this monster on the wall. You know, I'm kind of not surprised considering my sister is also the person who, I think it was a Kmart store, proclaimed aloud she would absolutely shoot Bambi and Bambi's mom in front of what the freak is going on? Anyway, yeah, no, Tara, fess up. That was at a Kmart, wasn't it? Where you just proclaimed out loud that you would. It's like a cat. What? Tara, are you talking in multiple chats? What are you going on about cats' tongues? What? The Antichrist fish goes on the wall. Well, hold on. If it was a punishment because they skipped out on church, wouldn't that make it a divine being? Wouldn't it be like an angel shark? Which there is such a thing as an angel shark? Angel sharks are funny. Because everyone calls them angel sharks because when you look at them, they look like they're wearing a big flowing robe and they look angelic. And then you see their face and they look like bulldogs had sex with Satan. They are not pretty fish. Shark skin is like a cat's tongue. What the hell is going on around here? Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. You guys probably can't hear me, but my crew has kind of abandoned me, and they somehow let in the biggest fly I think I've ever seen in my life. And it's buzzing around over my poor little head. Unfortunately, the bishop is out in the desert looking around at the storm, apparently. Where the hell is everyone? There you are. You let in the biggest fly in the history of mankind.
Nice.
And it was just buzzing like right over my head, and I don't know if they heard it or not. But no, Bishop, we need your theological opinion. If this shark attacked these fishermen because they skipped out on church, would that make it divine or infernal? Would it be considered godly or satanic?
Have to ask God.
Wow. Well, somebody shut Sean up real fast. You have to take it up with the big guy.
I've skipped church a few times and.
Oh, honey.
Things, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, honey boy. I could write books about skipping out on church. Are you kidding me? Anyway. But we have one more little creature to talk about here before we get to the Lovecraftian penis pickles.
Lovecraftian penis pickle.
Lovecraftian penis peppers and our pickles. I'm sorry,
I want somebody on the chat.
Oh no.
Hi everybody, by the way. I want somebody on the chat to just engrave that on a board and send that to him, please.
Lovecraftian
A Lovecraftian
penis
pickle.
pepper.
No, penis pickle.
Oh, you're gonna be sad. So the pickles, there are two different kinds. So we need to try one of each: the coins and the spears. Oh, nope, he's dead. He is. Well, he can go ask. I guess he can go ask about that shark now. Your dad. Hey, no sharks ever came after you.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, though, we have one last thing to talk about. And this one's, this is going to be the obscure and weird one. So I'm going to need you all to just bear with me for a minute here. This last legend is like super, super obscure and super weird. It's a Peloponnesian thing. Some people say it's a demigod. Some say it's some kind of a demon thing. Some people say it's a complete fake thing made up by foreigners who were trying to make the various isles like Samoa and Hawaii sound stupid. And it's really hard to approach this legend, actually. It's a creature, and it has a couple different names. Some people call it the Wild One, or just the Wild. But it's most commonly known through the name Sharugath, which I have no idea if that's even a Peloponnesian name. It doesn't sound Peloponnesian. Sharugath? Sounds kind of European, doesn't it? I don't know. But anyway, which is why some people claim that there is no such thing at all. It was a story made up by settlers to make the Peloponnesians and the Hawaiians and the Samoans and stuff like that all sound dumb. But anyway, this creature is usually depicted as some kind of a huge shark. And of course, in true fisherman tale fashion, the story's size goes all across the board. We're talking it's 100 feet long. There's stories that say it's over 300 feet long. There's all kinds of stuff. It's usually depicted as some kind of a winged shark, like I said. Though oddly, for some incoherent reasons, some stories call it a squid. Say it has like tentacles or something like that. I don't know. It's really weird. But it's supposedly this thing, like even just the name of the creature is dangerous. Like just saying its name out loud, or some people claim that there are tikis that hold measures of the creature's power. It brings disaster and chaotic situations. Supposedly, the calmest, most peaceful water suddenly becomes stormy and mucky and horrible. What's funny is supposedly the creature itself, even though some people claim it's a demon, it's not ever really explicitly called evil. In fact, actually, a lot of stories kind of have sympathy towards it, that like it can't control itself. It can't control what happens when you invoke this creature's power, which is why some people say it's a god, because just saying the name aloud can disrupt and disturb the waters. Some stories say that the creature is actually like imprisoned or something about being swallowed up by the earth. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's this really super obscure monster that the weirdest part is it ties more to like occultism than like native legends, which is why a lot of people say, wow, that was bright. That actually hurt my eye. That was right in the side of my face. Anyway, though, A lot of people claim that this story actually was brought in from settlers or colonizers, I guess is the more accurate term, who were exploring the Pacific, and they took this legend from their own culture and kind of pretended that it was some silly superstition that the islanders believed. Another problem that the story has is it never specifies a specific island nation. Like, the term Polynesian, most people use it referring to Hawaii, the Hawaiian chain. Other people say that it also includes like Samoa and various other small islands. Sharugath is almost never bound to any one island. Which is why, again, a lot of people claim that it's a transplant, that it isn't from there, it's foreign. But, yeah, it's a really weird, obscure monster that is supposedly this big winged shark who just causes absolute devastation and chaos wherever it goes. I've heard a few stories that it can like be conjured or summoned, and that it's beholden to certain profane imagery or artifacts. But I mean, that goes with any demon that you see in like occultism. I personally, if you should encounter this stupidly obscure creature, I wouldn't try holding a cross up to it. Probably your best bet is just not to be where it is. Because again, there's this kind of like ripple effect. Wherever it is just, it's bad juju, man. Like everything is bad around it. And again, as I said before, it's almost told with sympathy. Like the storyteller wants you to feel bad for this creature. That it doesn't mean to destroy stuff. It doesn't mean to be a terror. It just happens. Which is why some people call it the wild one. Because it's wild. It's chaotic. It's not in control. But that is what we can confirm and know about Sharugath. But we've been, wow, that's, yes, I said the name Sharugath, and suddenly there's rain.
I know they can't hear it, but it's really coming down.
Yeah, you guys probably can't hear it. But anyway, yeah, I said the name, and now there's suddenly a storm. So see, it something's weird about it. But anyway, boys and girls, we're gonna have Choopy put up the screen so we can get set up, because we are gonna have some Lovecraftian penis peppers
Pickles.
and also some pickles. So
Lovecraftian penis pickles.
shut up, you. So yeah. Choopy, you want to put us behind a curtain real quick here so that we can... Oh, mother... Son of a... Whoa! Wow. What? What the hell is that?
What the hell is what?
Oh, mother! Choopy, we need to have a talk. Oh, God, my face. Oh!
All right.
I'm behind the goddamn chat. Okay.
Let me go fix that.
Sit your blasphemous butt down. Okay, mother... Stop hitting me with things.
Hello, everybody. We're going to be trying 2 different kinds of pickles and some Lovecraftian penis peppers.
Yep. I see that, by the way.
There is a storm outside. I don't know if the camera's picking up the flashes of lightning, and I know you can't hear the rain, but...
Anyway, though. So we have, now according to my sister, these chips are the bread and butter, you said, Tara? And the spears are dill? Anyway, okay, well, hold on. Okay, boys. Give that a whiff.
Quiff.
Okay, that actually does smell good, I will admit.
Yeah, it smells like a pickle.
Yeah, okay. So you want to reach in there and pull us out some?
They're your sister's pickles.
Also, there's a sign on the screen right now from a good friend that was sent.
Here you go.
He asked for it. You know, that actually smells good.
Okay. You ready, boys?
Yeah?
I figure we should eat the pickles before the peppers.
See, that's what I was thinking, dude. You can have some.
Ready?
Yeah?
Here we go.
Yeah, that is definitely a bread and butter pickle. Very sweet. Very,
Sweet and sour.
yeah, very tangy.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
You know, hold on. Hear me out, guys.
Yeah.
What
I'd
about
eat that on burger.
I was gonna say, what about like using this in like a tartar sauce or with like a tuna, you know?
Tartar sauce.
Ooh, or my deviled eggs.
Yes, deviled eggs. There you go.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm feeling best at cooking is deviled eggs, and those would actually go good in deviled eggs.
They are actually pretty good. They are definitely sweet and sour.
Definitely a bread and butter pickle, yeah.
Okay, hold on.
I admit that's not... Bread and butter pickles are definitely not my favorite, but that wasn't actually bad, so good job.
That actually was good.
That was good. I wouldn't just pick it up and eat it by itself. I do think it needs to be in something or with something.
Yeah, that's the thing about bread and butter pickles. They're not really good by themselves. They're definitely... They're a complimentary food.
But here we have...
I would say my deviled eggs, or potato salad, or
You wanna
on
check?
a burger.
Yeah, slice that up into thirds. Now, these are made from onions. Your dad is saying put them with onions.
I can see onions.
Oh, like fried onions?
And they would go good on a burger. I will admit that one.
I think so, yeah.
These are going to be a little more tangy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can smell.
I didn't smell. Let me smell. Stop that. Anyway,
Duty
now
of
I
hot
believe
sauce
my
on them.
sister said that these are dill. So,
Yeah, these
ready?
They smell like dill. Oh, hold on. Nope, it's gone now. All right. There was an entity on his.
Oh yeah, there's
No,
seeds.
there's an entity on your finger.
Yeah.
Pickle seed.
His pickle was a little hairy.
Anyway, gentlemen,
All right.
1,
2.
3.
Yeah, those
that
are
is
dill.
definitely a dill.
That's a dill pickle, yeah.
Ugh. The force is strong with this one.
A little
Yeah.
vinegary, but not bad.
No, not bad at all. These
That's
are actually pretty.
not bad, no.
These are actually really good, I think. Again, these are not the kind of pickles you would just like pull out of the jar and have as a snack by itself, but like, no, I think this would be good in deviled eggs or like in a tartar sauce with some tuna.
These would. Let's see.
These would be good as like a good compliment for some sort of meat dish. Like these are like burger and hot dog pickles.
Yeah. Or,
Relish. That's the word I was thinking. Make that into a relish.
I can see that being a good relish.
Or beside like a nice sandwich. Like a nice toasty turkey sandwich or something. Just have it on the side.
You're a toasty turkey sandwich. Nah, you're just a turkey.
Okay, so no. Okay, so I thought these were squash. No, these are cucumbers. These are cucumbers.
Now, how did you describe
Yes, that's
it?
what pickles are made out of.
How did you describe
thought
it?
they
Like
were-
2 weeks ago, your sister pickled cucumbers she found in her backyard, and I'm like, does she know those were actually cucumbers?
Yes. No, she grows them in a garden.
Well, I mean, that's
You
why they're
said
called.
she found them
that's
in her
why they're-
backyard.
I know, I was being a smartass.
That's why they're pickles. If they were squash, they'd be pickled squash. Not
I
pickles.
thought they were pickled squash. Anyway, so
Those-
we've had the good stuff.
Those are actually good.
They are.
Both of them.
These are actually good. Like I said, not by themselves, but they're a good ingredient. I think they'd be a good ingredient. Now, and actually, now I really want your deviled eggs.
I was gonna say I'm gonna make deviled eggs out of these in a couple weeks, and these I would actually say are actually good by themselves.
Do it up.
But anyway, now you, sir, please
Oh, boy.
introduce us to these eldritch abominations.
Take this real quick. I gotta flip this over.
Are these the kind that I don't want to touch my eyes or anything afterwards?
I wouldn't. I mean, they're not the worst, but it's not the best probably to do that with.
So what's the story of these? A guy on the street just gave them to you out of his bush? There's a story behind these.
Please tell.
They
So-
just smell good.
Oh, by the way, yes, we survived. We survived eating these pickles. I told you. My sister's sitting here like, look, I didn't kill you. You lived.
This time,
Well, I mean, for now, we've only just eaten them. Give it a couple hours.
Yeah, I'm sure we fine.
but no, for reals, those were actually really good, Tara.
Those were. Thank you, Tara. Thank you very much.
So, my main mode of work is as a logistics. I work with a logistics company. I do driving all over Colorado, and one of the places I drive to is it's like a cultivation store. It's a grow store basically. The dude at the store had a bunch of different plants growing outside, and one of the plants he had growing outside were these little purple peppers right here. I wasn't sure what they were called. I had to look it up. They are called Buena Mulata peppers. They are a derivative of cayenne. And he said I could just take a bunch, so I grabbed a small handful, and I've been waiting to try these out. I'm actually kind of excited too because they do look really tasty. Apparently, they're less spicy than cayenne and have kind of like a smoky flavor to them. So I'm actually really excited to try them.
So we're just gonna all eat one raw whole right now, right?
Oh no, I'm gonna coin one up because if they actually do taste good, I plan on making a seasoning salt out of these. I'm gonna dry them out and mix them with some other stuff and make a good like salt for like food.
If they're good, maybe on your meatloaf.
Yeah. But anywhoots, which one do you guys think? This one, or this one? Because I want to keep that one. I like that one.
Yeah, I like this one too, the little curly guy.
Yeah, a little curly Q. Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling this one. I don't know.
What do you think? That one?
Yeah.
Watch that one be the spiciest one out of all of them.
Well, that's what the audience wants, right?
Alrighty.
All right. Here you go. You get the little tip. Just the tip.
Give me the big one.
All right. The one with the most seeds in it.
Oh boy.
I have no clue what to expect from this.
Ooh, that smells good.
This smells strong.
It smells like kind of like a jalapeno, actually.
I was gonna say.
Now, what's cool about these is this is actually like the beginning of the ripening stage. They actually turn. They go from this dark purple to a bright green to a deep red, which I guess is where the cayenne really kind of comes out. But yeah, this is like the early stage where they have like the most flavor apparently. So
You're kind of scaring me because there's it's not the those Korean peppers, is it?
No.
Because I hear those are actually pretty bad.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good.
We're about to
You
find
said
out.
They turn dark red.
Okay, little bitty chunks. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Oh, it's not that bad at all. It's like a little burst of heat.
Oh!
It's a bird. It's like a jalapeno. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, water only makes it worse.
That's not water.
That's mostly water.
Oh, it hurts.
How does that hurt? It's not that bad.
It feels like an ant sting.
Actually, it's
On my
pretty
tongue.
good.
They're very mild, actually, compared to the hot sauces we've done on the show.
Like,
There is a big blast of heat when you first do it, but not
but
bad.
it's basically like biting into a coined jalapeno. Like the heat's there, but then it goes away. I tell you what's good is it definitely is smoky. I definitely picked up like a smoky flavor off of it, which is I'm excited about.
I'm not getting that, to be honest.
I got a bit of I got a slight smoke, but it's less of a flavor and more. It feels like an ant sting.
That's because spicy foods hate you.
See, I'm getting jalapeno.
Yes, I am the Prince of Darkness. I'm fine. I'm just saying, it doesn't taste like anything. It feels like an ant sting. But I did kind of get some smoke, a little. But again, it's mostly just...
Not like a chipotle or a paprika smoke, though.
No, nowhere near as strong as that.
No.
It like I said, it really does seem like a jalapeno.
Yeah.
Well, keep
like
in
a
mind,
jalapeno.
I'm pretty sure like a lot of the flavor probably comes out when cooked.
See,
Only because like raw peppers all tend to kind of taste like grass. So
Yeah. Yeah, there was a hint of smoke, kind of grass, and then it was just...
but the fact that the hint of smoke is there when
Is a
the
good
pepper is
indication.
raw means that flavor will really come out when you cook them. So
I'll give you that one. And I like the smoky taste of a chipotle.
so
I think that would go good in like a sweet and sour sauce, like fry it down with like some maybe
Honey?
honey.
I will, only because of the fact that I must prove that I am indeed still the Prince of Darkness.
Why does your chat think the Prince of Darkness can't feel pain?
I know, it's like, I don't get that. It's like,
It's like, oh, he's the Prince of Darkness. He can't feel pain, apparently.
of
Like,
course
yeah,
I
where'd that
can.
come from?
I don't know. Anyway, though, yes, I will have another one.
yeah, so you get there's the smoky flavor really came out.
Okay,
in
so
those
here's
ones.
how you do it. Here's how you do it. You put it in your mouth, and you chew it with the side of your teeth.
Oh,
Don't chew it like in the front of your mouth. Put it on the side. You can get that smoke. And it's nowhere near as strong. Although it still has that jalapeno sting for me. No.
That one wasn't nearly as
the
bad as-
side. Chewing it on the side of your mouth. Keeping it
Right.
away from your tongue.
That's gonna be a loud one. See.
and you have bare foot. Hey, Dad, remember the time you were in the kitchen, you dropped a knife on your foot, point down?
Oh, he's talking about your knives. He's... I see your knife. He
Oh, yeah,
wants to
he
see
liked
your knife.
your-
Show your knife.
Which knife?
The knife you're playing with.
Your pocket knife. My
Yeah.
dad
Oh,
really
yeah.
liked your pocket knife last time.
The crappy my crappy kitchen knife that I bought at the thrift store for like $1.
No, go show off your pocket knife that you
That-
used last episode. My
The
dad
one
liked
you
that.
gave me.
Yeah, that's a quick chunk.
Now, don't get us wrong; they are spicy, but they're not bad compared to like the hot sauces or anything else.
That
or-
was that's actually kind of good. The way I hold on.
Now, hold on. Okay, let's say my deviled eggs, a tiny bit of that with these pickles.
Here, now put it in your mouth and chew it specifically with the side of your teeth, the side teeth.
It's my my fucking what you call it?
Here, I'll focus it for you if you hold it back.
I remember what it is. It's a discontinued spider comb knife that I actually found on the side of the road. Funny enough.
Yeah.
The-
My nephew says nice knife spinning skills.
oh, thank you.
He likes to play with sharp objects.
Yeah.
And again, I reiterate, yes, I am still the Prince of Darkness. Yes, I feel pain. There's just no topping me.
Ah.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey. Whoa. I felt something. What are you doing? Hey, stop it. This is messing with my hair. Stop it.
But yes,
this might be a good look for me.
Tara, these are actually really good pickles. I actually like those. So thank you for sending those to us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
These are good. These absolutely will get used.
That pain does linger, though.
It's
I think you guys are just being sensitive.
it does linger, but it definitely calms down. And like I said, by itself, no. But like, you turn that into a powder, into a salt.
Yeah, I'm gonna dry these out in my oven, and then desiccate them, and then grind them up. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna mix them with quite yet, but I'll figure that out and probably make like a really like tangy like citrus powder with them.
That sounds good.
Some lemon zest or lime zest.
Also, I can't see the chat at all, so. I can tell by the pictures. Sean's commenting. Sarah's commenting. Wow, it is very active out there.
It's a very talkative storm.
The camera's probably not picking it up.
Sean, you want to come up my mountain and take the title Prince of Darkness from me? Bring it on. Come on, kid. You don't scare me, kid. I remember when you were too scared of the artwork on trading cards to play frickin' Call of Cthulhu with me. You ain't shit. Oh no.
Now eat the whole thing.
Just put it in your mouth like a man.
I knew you would. I knew he would. He loves spice.
He does.
It's not that bad.
It's really not.
Honestly, I've had jalapeno spicier than this.
It is the least spiciest thing we've eaten on the show, and honestly, it's the least spicy thing that I've eaten in a long time.
I'm not sure I would say that, but it is definitely fairly weak.
Ooh, seed in the back of my throat.
Oh boy. Bishop, you might need to give him the last rites.
Okay, I'm good.
You okay? Whoa, mama!
That was a good one. Oh, by the way, we got our next shipment of hot sauce order on the way. I just got the confirmation today, so we should be getting it in the next couple of days.
Well, this is news to me.
Anyway.
I just got the email today.
Does that mean hopefully no promises next show?
Well, if you got the email, then yeah, it might be next week.
Within like week or next week. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. But until then, I am the Prince of Darkness.
Thanks.
Kristoff N. Chester. This is my good buddy DJ Scraps from Kobold's Corner. We got the Bishop here.
Me too. Hi.
Vandross01. And
if I am allowed to shamelessly plug myself here for a second, I'm doing a 6-hour stream on Sunday. It's going to be 3 different genres of music, so if you wanted to come listen in, please do.
I will
Bishop,
pull up a link for that, and we will do it now. And yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was our tribute to Shark Week and the beautiful creatures and mythology that surrounds sharks. We thank you all for being here as always. Resident Chaos Lord Sean, it was wonderful having you. Dakota, I'm glad my sister let you stay up and watch my show. He's not supposed to watch our show. Anyway, the Bishop's over in the corner trying to find a link to your. That's going to be on Twitch.
Yeah, my Twitch stream.
On Twitch. Yeah. He's going to be streaming on Twitch, not on Facebook or YouTube.
Unfortunately, YouTube was a little stingy with their copyrights. So.
Oh, I could only imagine. We got it?
And yeah.
We got it. Cool.
That's
sweet.
So yeah, Sunday, a huge stream marathon. Be there. The Prince of Darkness has decreed it. You will be there.
And you're promising at least 4 hours, right?
Actually, it's going to be closer to 6.
He said 6.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, though, but yeah, next week we might be doing more hot sauces, which, you know what that means. If we're gonna have the Fuego box, we gotta talk about serial killers again.
No.
Ooh, that was a good one.
No, serial. Really? Not serial killers.
I want to talk about serial killers.
What do you think, chat? What do you think, chat? Should we talk about serial killers again?
You did American Cannibals last time, right?
Well, they were all American, but we did cannibals specifically. Yeah. What do you think, guys? You want some more serial killers? What the hell? Next week, assuming the Fuego box gets here in time, we're going to talk about some serial killers. And we're going to be trying out more Fuego box hot sauces. Not sponsored.
I'm going to watch them cry while I enjoy them.
You know, we're going to get a real brutal one day.
I know. I'm going to eat my words horribly.
What was that one that even you were afraid of? The Exceedum?
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, I found those.
I saw that
at Safeway.
And you didn't buy one. You didn't buy me one.
When I have the money, I'll get you a bottle or two.
Oh, that was a good one.
I really wish...
Chinese history.
I really wish you could all see the big flashes through our window.
Oh, you know, haunted houses actually would be a really fun one.
We talked about
that would be cool.
Yeah?
Or,
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll make you a bargain. If the hot sauces don't come in time for next week's show, we will be talking about haunted houses and more famous hauntings. If they do get in, we're going to talk about serial killers.
Or, I think a good one, too, might be, Japanese and, Oriental demonology.
Oh, Onis and
spirits and stuff like that.
Oh, boy, howdy, yeah?
Because you want to talk about, a rich, supernatural culture.
And weird.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's a badge of honor, okay? Yeah, we could also talk about milking the Minotaur. Anyway, guys, but in the meantime, I am Kristoff N, still the Prince of Darkness. This is DJ Scraps, yes. And, as always, keep checking the shadows. Oh, yeah, there's the bishop. Keep checking the shadows.
Right in the face.